Night, Chuck. I think that's sound advice. I'm just looking to see if there is such a fucking creepy question. Charles, when are you gonna let me come down to Boulder County and photograph you? Come on, man, ask it different. I'm sure you're a nice guy. Please. Oh, it's too late. Okay, it's midnight here. Jesus. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. Gonna get up, work out, gonna get it done. Let's see if there's anything else here. Good one to end on, huh? Charles, is there a single aspect of Ethereum that is better than Cardano, in your opinion? Well, Ethereum in its current instantiation is a subset of Cardano. Once sidechains come, everything Ethereum is, Cardano is. They're combined together. It's like the real numbers to the integers. There's a lot more of them, and they do a lot more things, but the integers are contained within the real numbers, okay? So from a technological viewpoint, layer one, I'm not so worried about it. The layer two ecosystem is fascinating. Rollups in particular, there's a lot of magic there, and I admire that greatly. And I think we can do better as an ecosystem. And there's $150,000 of funding from Catalyst to chase that. There are some ventures that are chasing that. And we are researching rollups for the Hydra Tail protocol in particular. So I think a lot can be done above and beyond what we're doing. And the Ethereum space is doing interesting things there. And they're really impressive things that are happening. There is an interesting thing about community building. You know, if you're intellectually honest, Ethereum has a humongous community. I personally sometimes have some issues with that community above and beyond their distaste for me. I think there's a lot of elitism and arrogance in it, and smarminess in it. It's the man bun syndrome. Yes, those. And that's a personal taste and preference, but it's undeniable the pervasiveness of Ethereum. It's undeniable that those people are also quite effective. There is a problem-solving mindset that exists within Ethereum that is seldom seen in the rest of the cryptocurrency space, where people don't just bitch and complain about things or go to some sort of ideological religion. They actually try to solve stuff. And I think it's a testimony to good leadership from Vitalik. He's a very solutions-oriented person, and he's a very execution-oriented person. And while there's depth and philosophy there, there's always an engineering mindset of build it, build it, build it, build it. And there's a persistence there that is quite impressive. And I admire that. And at times, I think we can be, as an ecosystem, a bit too academic. Whereas they're the other extreme. The pendulum goes all the way over, and they're very engineering-focused, academic second. Although we're both kind of meeting in the middle as projects. I think the other thing that Ethereum has done very well, they've been a very effective communicator as an ecosystem about blockchain utility that's non-monetary. Before Ethereum, the name of the game was Bitcoin, altcoin, token somehow connected to finance, and not a lot of diversity. And then there was ideas about extending financial capabilities, Color Coins, Mastercoin. These were the projects that I grew up with, my generation. And they were all about saying, let's increase what you can do, like issue a token or do a contract or something like that. But Ethereum came around, and then suddenly we have NFTs. And suddenly we have all these other things, oracles and video games, all kinds of weird experiences like metaverse stuff. It's pretty cool. And Ethereum was the first mover in that. And there's still a lot of strength and momentum in that community about dreaming big, building big, doing things a little differently. And there's an amazing renewal year after year that is enduring. And a culture that doesn't take itself so seriously. It's a taste and preference thing. You go to consensus, you get a lot of people suit and tie, a lot of business being done, very professional. VCs there, a lot of. You go to F Denver, and it's Vitalik wearing a bear suit, and unicorns, and songs, and merrymaking, and drug rooms. Literally the third floor of the castle, laser light show, and a guy's like, "Oh, I love Ethereum. It's so great." Yes, that's how it was 4 years ago. They haven't lost that. It's not an act. It's not a show. There's a culture there, for better or for worse, and it's very different from the Cardano culture. The people who are in our ecosystem, they tend to be, in many cases, there's a bimodal distribution. One tends to be blue collar, and they're very philosophical motivated, and they hate institutions, and they think they need to be better. And then there tends to be a academic white collar or professional white collar, where they grew up with a love and appreciation of the processes we follow, and they like that there's a return to that. It's a meet in the middle of both blue and white collar in that respect, and it's very diverse as a result. And I've met incredible people make whale books, artists, photographers, governors. I've met doctors, lawyers, computer scientists. It's a very big tent. The Achilles heel of the Ethereum movement, though, is their inability as a movement, in my view, to understand where they have blind spots or cognitive biases or undue unfair thoughts. And maybe I'm just because I've been on the receiving end of it, but not a lot of people, rank and file in Ethereum land, will acknowledge that Cardano has done legitimately interesting things. Like the interview recently with the author who shall remain nameless, and a podcaster asking if Cardano is a legitimate competitor to Ethereum. There was nothing said there. First, it was, well, Cardano, I don't know much about it. Okay, that's fair. You leave it at that. But instead, it's, I don't know much about it, but I believe there's nothing there. They've had difficulty launching smart contracts. There's so much magic in what we've done. So much careful thought, so many thousands of conversations, so many thousands of meetings, and countless hours writing code and doing science and building things that go into who we are, what we've done. And that's all in the open for everybody in the space, for better or for worse, to utilize. You can't, with a project that has committed so much work to paper, just offhand dismiss it because of your personal distaste for the founder. And the fact that an entire ecosystem in some way has succumbed to that, that doesn't bode very well for their future, because that's ultimately to their detriment. If you're smart, you learn from other people's mistakes. You learn from where other people have not done things well or done things well. Competitive analysis intelligence really helps you out. You see this in great engineering. Biomimicry is a great example of that. For any structure, any design, anything you look at, you always ask, did nature already do it? Because if it did, I have a starting point. Who am I to argue with millions of years of evolution? Go copy it. Right out of steel. Steve Jobs used to say that. Everything we've done is a potential point of conversation and inquiry and interest. And we fostered an environment in our ecosystem because of the academic process where we love talking to people. We love engaging. We love debating. We love peer review. We love the discussion. We love making things better, being smart. We love collaboration. We write papers with so many people. It's not an echo chamber. If you look at the authors on the papers, you look at the code, there's so many contributors who don't work for us, who came in for one particular thing or another because they happen to be interested in it. Or look at our work and build and improve our work, even when they disagree with us. So if you have a blind spot to that amazing movement, all you're doing is saying everything that they've learned and all the pain they've gone through, we as an ecosystem are just going to go replicate that and pay the same price that they paid. Why would you do that? Does that make any sense? If you're walking and you see the guy ahead of you fall into a pit, would you be like, well, I have to fall in that pit too? No, you walk around the pit. Pretty common sense, right? But that's literally what's happening in many cases with consensus research or other such things, or the fallacy of the accounts-based model of being the panacea of scalability. It's nuts, is what it is. The dog barks, caravan moves on, and people sometimes do and say things because of the incentives they have, but I'd say that's the only flaw in that community that really holds them back. And it's not just Cardano, it's other things like Solana and so forth. There's goodness there. Protocol design needs to be improved, but there's goodness there. And all of these different protocols, whether it be Harmony or IOTA, there's something there to learn from and be inspired from. And if you have a beginner's mind and you're humble, you can work your way through it. You can just go to chalkboard. You can think about it. You can solve it. And you can get to a better place. And if you have an ecosystem where that humility is lacking and there's an arrogance, all you're doing is you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Anyway, is what it is. Until next time, everybody, Charles Hoskinson signing off from warm, sunny Colorado. As I said and promised, we began February 21st. We ended February 22nd.